Well, the rain couldn't stay away, folks. Oh, we only played one today. We didn't play two as scheduled. Now they're going to go back to the original plan, which was to play the doubleheader tomorrow. But we got a game in this afternoon, and it was a breath of fresh air. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Phightins Final with here on EOP with your boy Matty B. As the Phillies today, in the first of at that time a doubleheader, took care of business down in DC to the tune of 5-1 against the Nationals as the dominance of the Washington Nationals continues now 14-2, I think, this year down there at Nationals Park as the or over since 2021 or something like that. It's been definitely a great place for the Phillies to play. But as I was watching this game, and it was very clear very early on that the Phillies were going to win this game, or they were lulling the Nationals to sleep, so to speak. The Phillies were still doing the same stuff, right? They were still leaving a lot of runners on base. Folks, they left 9 more runners on base today. 9. And guess what? Every single one of the runners they left on base was in scoring position with 2 outs. That's right. That's mind-boggling to me. They still left 9 runners on base. They struck out 8 more times as a team. They just beat up on a really bad baseball team today. They got some help from C.J. Abrams and his shoddy defense. That kid's going to be something special, though. You heard it here first. But they did what they had to do. They got runs in. Rhys Hoskins hit that home run the first inning to get things going. And you got to give him credit. The Phillies bats woke up, so to speak, today. But how are you feeling? How's everybody feeling tonight? Today was an interesting day. Today could have been a huge swing for the Phillies. Now, last night I was on this very program, and I told you that there's a good chance that when we went to bed last night, that the Phillies would be out of the playoff picture. And if it hadn't been for a grand slam in the bottom of the or top of the 8th inning out there in Milwaukee between the Marlins and the Brewers, the Marlins trailing 2-0 in the 8th. And a grand slam was hit to lift the Marlins to a 4-2 victory, thus preserving the Phillies' spot in the wild card. And then today, going down and winning the early game 5-1. The Phillies find themselves now a game ahead of the Brewers, and that magic number has been reduced down to 5. But if we would have won tonight, and then the Brewers lost tonight, we could have found ourselves up 2 games, and that magic number reduced all the way down to 3. So the best now we can get hope for tonight is a magic number of 4 and a game and a half lead. So let's go Marlins as they continue their 4-game series out in Milwaukee. But let's get back to this thing, folks. Let's get back to Nationals Park on this very rainy day in Philadelphia or in D.C. Dave hits, hey, Manny, I thought you were going on at 10. I was, Dave, but there's no second game, so I'm here now. I'm not going to wait till 10:45 and talk about a game that ended 6 hours ago. I was waiting for 10:45 to do both games, and obviously I moved that time up so I could come on now because the game has been canceled. And as I said, we're back to our original plan of a doubleheader tomorrow, and then the rubber game on Sunday. But let's get back to this game. Bailey Falter. Well, I'm not going to discredit what Bailey has done for this team this year, but really, is this the option we're going to be looking at in the playoffs? Bailey Falter in the starting rotation. I'm not really feeling that. I think he'd be better used in the pen for the Phillies in the playoffs. And as far as the hitting goes, I'm just not feeling this team offensively right now. I'm not. They struck out, as I mentioned, 8 more times as a team today. Nick Castellanos looked kind of scared at the plate. Kyle Schwarber, dude. Am I the only one? am I the only one who's feeling a little buyer's remorse with this situation? Does it? For some reason, it doesn't seem like he's hit 42 home runs and knocked in almost 90 runs. It doesn't seem like that for me. I've never felt this way about a guy that's had that much power. But he's just dreadful. He's a dreadful hitter. He is not a professional hitter. He is a beer league softball player that's got really quick hands. And the embarrassment of him leading off continues day on day out. And moving into this, and I said this last night, as bad as it felt last night against the Cubs, losing, getting swept in Chicago now and losing all 6 to the Cubs this season, I still felt that this team was probably going to make the playoffs. Deep down, I still felt that way, and I still do. But what are they going to do exactly when they get to the playoffs? Because they've proven they can't beat the really good teams. What is this team going to be in the playoffs? And I guess we'll have to wait and kind of see that. But all the signs that offensively with this team are just dreadful. They're just dreadful. They're a dreadful offensive team. But you wouldn't know it to see it. This team averages about 7 hits a game. That's like right up there in the top third of Major League Baseball. 7 hits a game. That's winning baseball right there. But they just can't get runners in. They strike out way too damn much. And if they're not hitting home runs, folks, they're not scoring runs. And it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating to see. But let's center on the good things tonight. Phillies 5-1 winners down there in wet, soggy Washington, D.C. And now let's kind of go to the line. The Phillies would finish the day with 5 hits, 5 runs. Sorry. Thought we were talking about the Cubs for a second. 5 runs, 11 hits, no errors. The Nationals 1 run, 7 hits, and 1 error. And how it all went down there in D.C. Rhys Hoskins got things happening in the first inning, making it 1-0 Phillies. But then, folks, did you watch that game? The Phillies were all over Phinal in the first inning, and all they could do was muster 1 run. So, yeah, coming out of that inning, was I happy that Hoskins hit the homer? Absolutely. But I was concerned because, once again, we left runners on. Once again, we couldn't get the big inning, and we left runners on the base pads. So I wasn't feeling comfortable at all. And then the game kind of lulled me to sleep as we moved forward. Gene Segura would get the Phillies going again in the 4th when he would knock Brandon Martian to make it 2-0 Phillies. And then in the 6th, Nick Castellanos would score on a balk as he makes it 3-0. Luis Garcia got the Nationals on the board in the 7th when he knocked in Alex Call. And Rhys Hoskins then would knock in Gene Segura to make it 4-1 in the top of the 9th. And then JT would have fielder's choice in Bryson Stott to make it 5-1. And that is your final score, 5-1 Phillies out there in D.C. today. On the line offensively, man, here we go. Kyle Schwarber 0 for 5. Kyle friggin' Schwarber was 0 for 5 today. 2 strikeouts, left 5 runners on base. His average now is down to 210. That is the importance of having confident runners on base or batting in the top of your lineup, because you get those extra at-bats every game. And Kyle Schwarber was 0 for 5. Did I say it? Did you hear it, folks? 0 for 5 tonight or today with 2 more strikeouts to his credit. Rhys was 2 for 5 with a run, 2 RBIs, and a homer. Bryce Harper, kind of lull day today, 1 for 4. JT, 2 for 5 with the RBI and 3 stolen bases. Folks, the Phillies swiped 6 bases today against the Nationals. 6. I haven't seen the Phillies swipe 6 bases against a team in a minute. I'm talking like 80s minute. But they sold 6 today. Alot was 0 for 4 with the stolen base and a walk. Nick Castellanos was 1 for 4. Brandon Marsh, 2 for 4. Gene Segura, 2 for 4. Bryson Stott, 2 for 4. On the National side of things, Joey Meneses, 2 for 4 was pretty much the highlight offensively for the consistency. Luis Garcia had the RBI for the Nationals. That was pretty much it for them offensively. Bailey Falter, pitching wise, gets the win. He's now 6-4. He went 6 very strong innings against a very bad team. Gave up only 3 hits, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Eflin, Alvarado, and Sir Anthony came in to close things down for the Phillies. It was not a save for Sir Anthony. It was a non-save situation as he pitched a scoreless inning, which was very good to see. He did give up a hit, and he walked 2, but it was a scoreless inning. On the National side of things, Eric Fido gets the loss. He's now 6-12. He went 7 hits, 3 runs. 2 of them are earned, 1 walk and 3 strikeouts. Weems, Cisak, and Thompson would also pitch for the Nationals and the losing effort. And folks, you got it 5-1, man. 5-1. Phillies are winners today. And the slim playoff chances that they had leaving Chicago are burning a little bit brighter this afternoon. And it's a shame that they couldn't have got this game in tonight, because I was feeling a huge swing. I was feeling that let's go from a magic number of 7 or 6 to 3 in one night. And that was something I think this team definitely needed. Sean hits me up. Hey, what's up, Matty? JT today became the second catcher in history to hit 20 homers to steal. Yep, he is the second catcher in history. Can anybody name me the catcher, the first one who did it? I know who it is, but it's a trivia question, and I'll let somebody else answer it. But you're right, JT, 20 homers and 20 stolen bases in a season. 1 of 6, or I should say, JT had 2 today? 2 stolen bases? What did I say? 3. JT had 3 stolen bases today. As I mentioned, the Phillies stole 6 against the Nationals. By the way, my offensive player of the game for the Phillies today, drum roll, please. I'm going to give it to JT with his 2 for 5, his RBI, and those 3 stolen bases. So congratulations, JT, as you get offensive player of the game honors from me. But here we are. Yep. 84 wins now. A full game up on the Brewers as the Brewers await. They're in action a little bit later tonight out in Milwaukee against the Marlins. We're up by a game. Magic number is 5. But is anybody really feeling comfortable? Is anybody really feeling excited? Because we're still seeing the same product night after night from this team offensively. Kyle Schwarber 0 for 5. 0 for 5. I've seen a lot of 0 fors next to his name since he's been here. I'm getting buyer's remorse. Does anybody else have buyer's remorse on Kyle Schwarber? Anybody? Or is it just because he's leading off? Is that why I'm feeling the way I am? But I have no faith or confidence in him in any situation offensively. When he hits home runs, to me, folks, it's a sign of luck. I don't think at any time he's going to come up in a key moment and get that key hit. And if anybody out there feels that way, hell, does anybody out there feel that way about any of the Phillies hitters? Does anybody out there feel that way about any of these guys when they come up in key moments of the games, that they're going to get that big hit? Because if you do, I need to know what you're taking to make you feel that way, because I have no confidence in this team offensively right now. I've seen too much. The Phillies left 9 more runners on base today. On all 9 of those were runners in scoring position with 2 outs. Can you imagine that? Every runner they left on base today was in scoring position with 2 outs. So they scored 5 runs and they left 9 more essentially on the bases. Their runners left on base total now is over 1,000 for the season, 1,008. Their runners left in scoring position with 2 out number is now up to about 553. So if you do the quick fuzzy math, more than half of the runners that the Phillies have left on base in 2022 have been in scoring position with 2 outs. More than half of those runners that the Phillies have left on base, the 1,008 that they've left on base, more than half of them were left on base in scoring position and with 2 outs. And the fact that we're sitting here on September 30th, about to go into October, and by the way, I got to get my car inspected. I forgot all about that. Just went up there today. I was like, wait a second. Oh, wow, today's September 30th. So I'm going to do that next week, I guess. The hell with them, man. I'll drive around. I don't care. Screw the government, man. Anyway, back to my task. The fact that we're sitting here on September 30th, still talking about a team that can that is in a playoff position is absolutely remarkable, and that needs to be lauded too about this team. The fact that they're so inept offensively, and yet they still have scored over 600 runs this year, have also hit over 1,300 hits, have closing in on 200 home runs. I mean, that stuff needs to be lauded as well. I got to be able to dish it out. I got to be able to take it as well as dish it out. But I just can't get past that runner left on base stat. It's been haunting me all season long. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Ding, ding, ding. Sean got it. It was Pudge. It was Pudge Rodriguez. So congratulations, JT. You're in elite company with your feet today. Ellis hits me with that will hurt you in the playoffs. Ellis, that's going to kill them in the playoffs. It's going to kill them. Because they're not going to be facing Eric Phightins in the playoffs. They're not going to be facing pitchers with ERAs close to 9 in the playoffs. They'll be facing teams' aces, their number 2s, and at the very least bit a number 3, especially in this first round series. So once again, let it sink in, folks. 1,008 runners left on base in 2022. 553 of those runners have been left on base in scoring position with 2 outs. That is over half of the runners left on base that the Phillies have left on base in 2022 have been left in scoring position with 2 outs. Over half. Amazing numbers. Absolutely amazing. These power hitters have no fire being in vocal or body language. We need a guy to take a match under the manager and players, like you said. I do, Sean, but who is that? Does that player exist on his team? By the way, for you Derek Hall fans, Derek Hall is on his way back to Philadelphia. Munoz has been sent down. So for all you Derek Hall fans that were wondering when he was going to get his September call-up, it literally happened on the last day of September. So he's going to be rejoining the Phillies probably tomorrow in D.C., or he probably might have been there tonight. Christopher Sanchez also has been activated and added to the 20-man roster. Now the Phillies can have 29 players until the end of the season. So Christopher Sanchez has been activated. Potentially, I don't know if it's for a bullpen, maybe a spot start if needed. If maybe they were able to kind of close things out here this weekend against the Nationals, maybe he starts against the Astros or Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. I don't know, but so Christopher Sanchez and Derek Hall rejoining the Phillies as we speak. Yeah, we said this last night, Sean. We did that. We needed a leader, or I needed to know who the leader was, and nobody could tell me because nobody can tell me. There is no leader. There is no leader. And if you're telling me Rhys Hoskins is the leader of this team, then we're in a lot worse shape than I thought. If you're telling me Kyle Schwarber is the leader of this team, we're in a lot worse shape than I thought. We don't have leaders. There is no Chase Utley. There is no Jimmy Rollins. There is no Darren Dalton. There's no Mike Schmidt. There's none of those guys. They don't exist on this team at all. Nobody wants that responsibility. Nobody has that personality. And it's very frustrating. And eventually you need that leader. He's the one that gets you out of those 6-game losing streaks. He's the one that fires people up on the bench. Maybe he's the one that gets thrown out of a game to kind of get the team rolling. The manager sure as hell doesn't want to get thrown out of a game, but maybe it's the leader, but we don't have one of those yet. And that's something that needs to be addressed in the offseason. It does. Someone needs to step up and be that leader. We don't have one. We don't have a leader on this team. And I'll challenge anybody to include Big Al to tell me who the leader on this team was. Months ago, Big Al said it was Bryce Harper. It is not Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper is not the leader of this team. What's up, Mike? Listen, man, Mike, if you're listening out there, I wanted to tell you that you did a great job in DC over the weekend. I saw you pop in on the pregame thing, looking kind of happy. I'll leave it at that. So I hope you had a good time. And everybody else who went down to DC this past weekend, I hope they had a good time as the Eagles stomped all over the Nationals, as the Eagles stomped all over the Commanders. But yeah, good job, Mike. Good job for you, Mike, Al, Joe, and everybody else who went down there. You guys who, those of you who didn't see it, I suggest you do. They were on the Eagle pregame show, our EOP, Paying the Lions Eagle pregame show on Sunday, and Mike, Big Al, and Joey were remoted in to kind of check things out. So I hope you saw it. Sean says there's no one on this team, in my opinion. I agree. And does that bother anybody? Does that bother anybody that we don't have a leader in that clubhouse? That maybe it's just a collection of voices, or everybody looks over at Bryce's stall and he's got his head down, like, well, you're looking at me. I mean, does that bother anybody? Because it bothers me. Hey, Gary, how you doing? And Gary Grew from the Lacrosse Show chiming in on the program. What's going on, man? You guys are doing great with that, by the way. Congratulations on your invitation to the draft. That is badass. Sean says, bye-bye, Rhys. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. But, again, what are we getting for him? What kind of package do you get for Rhys Hoskins? Do you maybe package a Hoskins-Nola thing? Hoskins Real Muto? I think you can move off of Hoskins, but I think you're going to have to make the deal sweet. Someone else is going to have to go. I don't think alone Rhys Hoskins brings anything back at all of value. Anything. So we'll have to wait and see. Mike says the leader isn't here yet. Mike, I agree with you. The leader is not here yet either. And I don't know when that person gets here or who that person's going to be. But he needs to get here very, very soon. And he also says, yes, sir, I was very, very happy. Yes, you looked at Mike. And, as I mentioned, kudos to you and everybody else who made the trip down to D.C. And enjoyed yourselves on a very, very great Eagles day. But this is not about the Eagles today, folks. Of course, it's about the Phillies. And we are sitting here now 156 games in. Phillies, second game of doubleheader tonight rained out. They're going to go back to the original plan of having a doubleheader tomorrow and then hopefully try to get this thing in. I mean, we got to get the series in. There's just no way they have to get it in. We need these games. Tomorrow, let's check that. Tomorrow, the Phillies will send to the mound. Now, tonight was supposed to be Noah Syndergaard. He was supposed to get the start in the second game. Right now, I'm seeing that they still have Kyle Gibson listed down for tomorrow's starter. I don't know if they're going to move Syndergaard into the night game or if they're going to move Gibson to the night game. I would imagine the matchup for the Phillies, the pitcher's going tomorrow for the Phillies, and I don't know in what order it's going to be, but it'll be Kyle Gibson and Noah Syndergaard. And I'd imagine it's the same matchup that they were going to face against the Nationals. But so Gibson and Syndergaard are probably your pitchers tomorrow. How's that making people feel? Two of our more underachieving pitchers lately are going to get the nod in two very crucial games tomorrow. Huge games for the Phillies, depending on what happens tonight in Milwaukee, right? The Brewers lose tonight. Phillies are now a game and a half ahead, and magic numbers down to 4. They could get this thing clinched tomorrow, technically. Technically, the Phillies could clinch tomorrow. If the Brewers lose today and tomorrow, and the Phillies take both games tomorrow, the Phillies could clinch the playoffs, the World Series. They could clinch a playoff berth tomorrow if that lines up like that. So, how you feeling with that? How you feeling with a Gibson Syndergaard matchup with your playoff hopes potentially hanging in the balance tomorrow? That ain't making me feel too good. Now, the one saving grace is, of course, it's against the Nationals. So I guess we always have that to rely on. But that's not going to be like the case anymore. Starting on Monday in Houston, we're done facing the bottom feeders. Think of that, too. Sunday is the last game against a team that's not making the playoffs or a team that's not 500 or better that the Phillies will play in 2022. Rain or shine. That's it. Sunday. Everything else is going to be against the top teams, the top echelon. And is this team ready? Is this team ready for that? I say they're not. I say they're going to go into the playoffs. And I hope I'm wrong, but I think they're going to go in the playoffs and they're going to embarrass themselves. Kyle Schwarber is going to be up there hacking down trees, swinging at the stars, with his head up in the air, shaking his head, with taking off the batting gloves. That look he has that I've seen way too much this season of him either grounding out, popping up, striking out, flying out, en route to an 0 for 5 night. He's going to have that look. And you guys know the look I'm talking about. That look. I can't explain it. You know the look I'm talking about. Is he going to start? Is that going to be the national pitcher on Fox over the next couple of days? So I don't know, man. I don't know. Mike says Xander Bogaerts will be here next year. I don't know, man. I don't know. Bipolar Gibson. Yes. Either he's up or he's down. There's no constant with him. There's no in between. And then Noah Syndergaard. I mean, how much of a disappointment has this guy been? I mean, he was brought here because of his big game experience, his playoff experience. And he's been non-existent. Either he's in the bullpen in that weird Zach Wheeler's relief pitcher. He's not able to pitch against the Mets for, again, a reason that's unknown to anybody, but Noah is his God. And when he is pitching, he's been meh. Right? I got it. Tommy John surgery. He's only 1 year removed from it, or 1 year removed from pitching after it. I understand. I'm not looking for miracles now. I'm not saying he's cooked and toast for next season. He's probably going to be a lot better next year. But then why did we give up what we gave up to get him? Have you guys checked on Logan O'Hoppe out there in Anaheim? Have you checked in on him? He's up with the big club, and he's killing it right now. All right? So, the Brandon Marsh, Noah Syndergaard trade that netted us them two and sent Mickey Moniak and Logan O'Hoppe. Remember that name, folks. Logan O'Hoppe. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm just saying that's all. Just not happy with the return so far on that trade. Brandon Marsh has been just okay, but he has stabilized that center field position. He has. I'll give him that. But I wasn't prepared to give up Logan O'Hoppe for that. I could have found somebody in free agency for that role. What he's providing us right now, I could have found that in free agency next season and still held on to a very, very good young catching prospect who may or may not work out. I got that. But we need all the help we can get with the bat. And I don't know, man. A lot of flaws in their plan. But folks, it's a good night. It is. It's a good night after all is said and done. Anytime the Phillies win is a good night. And you know what else is a good night, man? It's EOP and the Painted Lions. Listen, we got a ton of stuff going on. If you can see right now, tonight, I believe happening right now, Chalk Talk, Kelly Green Hour, and then you're with me with the Phightins final. Tomorrow, Patterson Fanatics at 9. Devereaux Sports will follow that at 11. And then me sometime, probably late night. I'm not going to come on like I was going to do today. I'm not going to come on in between game 1 and 2. I'll come on at the end of game 2, and we'll capsulize it all. And then, of course, hopefully we're talking potentially a Phillies playoff berth. We could be talking that because the Marlins and the Brewers, it could set up, and I'll give you the scenario once again. And if you guys are having a good weekend, and I know people down in Florida are not, and if you guys have any relatives or friends in the Jacksonville or anywhere along the Eastern Seaboard, please, my thoughts and prayers go out to them. I hope all is well. I hope everybody's safe out there. Ian destroyed Florida; it absolutely ravaged it. So I hope everybody is okay. If you have if you have family and friends down there along the coast or up and down the Eastern Seaboard, especially in Florida, my thoughts and prayers are out to you tonight. If you have any questions about workman's comp, motor vehicle accidents, personal injury, or criminal law, Dave Cherry, 610-565-0300. Tell them the boys at EOP and Matty B sent you. And don't forget, Philly Sports Trips. What can I say? They're getting ready for their next one, which will be in Arizona in a couple weeks, but they're actually going to be doing something on Sunday. That's right, the Gatehouse, a.k.a. the Navy Yard. They'll be having their pregame show or pregame party, tailgate, whatever you want to call it. Head over to phillysportstrips.com. Check out everything they have to offer. Look into their tailgates, and also, of course, look into those great trips. And we got the Flyers kicking off here soon, so they'll be doing stuff out there. And the Sixers kicking off. So this is the busy time of the year for Philly Sports Trip as they get ready to take us into the new year. And if you're in Delco and in need of a bar, well, there's only one bar you can go to in Delco, and that is Dolan's. Head over there and tell them that I sent you, and ask them about the gritty sandwich. And I want one really bad. I really, really do. So, folks, listen, that's going to wrap me up tonight. I think that I need to, maybe since the Phillies are canceled, we can watch some SmackDown. Yeah, okay. I hate wrestling. So you go ahead, Dave. Enjoy that. See you tomorrow at 11 and Sunday's postgame. See you tomorrow at 11 and Sunday's Eagles postgame. You saying that to me, or are you saying that about yourself to everybody else? I think he's saying that. Yeah, that's right, because you're going to be on location, right, down there in the South House there, Mike. Yeah. So check out Mike tomorrow 11 on Devereaux Sports, and then also on the post game show live. I forgot about the live. Let me put that back up. I'm gonna get in trouble for not doing that. This is the live on location Eagles or EOP and Painted Lions Eagles game day live. It's going to be pre and post game at the South House down there in they call it South Philadelphia, but it's working your way up Broad Street. It's getting closer to center. I think it's more closer. I think it's more Center City than South Philadelphia. But yeah, whatever. It's semantics. The South House down there on 13th South Street. Go, and they're going to be having some great things all day long, and you'll be able to hang out with some EOP and Devereaux Sports and Painted Lions guys. I will not be in attendance, unfortunately, but I will get to one of these, I promise, sometime this season. So go ahead and check everybody else out. They're going to be there. And then, yeah, Mike said he's doing both. Yep. So go ahead and check out Mike at those events. It should be pretty fun. Folks, that is going to do it for me. I hope you guys have a good night. Everybody stay safe, stay dry, stay warm as it's getting cold. We've definitely moved out of summer. Oh, yeah, before I do go, that's right. I didn't do the out-of-town scoreboard, man. Where am I? So right now, let's check the out-of-town scoreboard. There's only really one game right now. Or, again, there's two games that still do affect the Phillies. Both of them games will be on a little bit later. Starting any minute now, out there in Milwaukee, the Marlins and the Brewers will throw down in a very important game for the Phillies, probably the most important game for the Phillies. And then way later tonight at 9:40 out in San Diego, the White Sox and the Padres will do battle out on the coast. So right now, as I say, the Phillies are 5. Their magic number is 5. So 5 games, either wins or losses by the Brewers and Phillies, and we're in. So this is how it could work out, right? The Brewers lose tonight. Magic number's at 4 because the Brewers lost. We didn't play tonight. We'd also be a game and a half up in the standings. Tomorrow, we take 2. Magic number is down to 2, right? That would be 4. We would take 2. Brewers lose, the magic number's at 1, so we could actually clinch on Sunday. So Sunday is when we could clinch if everything works out. So let's all pray and hope that is the case for us as we move forward into this. Right, we'll be 5. Right, we could have done it tonight if we would have. Yeah, so we could clinch this weekend. So let's keep an eye on those Brewers Marlins games. It should be pretty fun, and have some fun. Thanks for chiming in, Gary. So that's going to do it for me. You guys take care. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll recap the doubleheader. Hopefully, we're talking about another Milwaukee Brewer loss and potentially another Milwaukee Brewer loss. So we're talking about 2 Milwaukee Brewers losses tomorrow night by the time the Phillies game goes final. And hopefully we're talking about 1 game, the magic number being 1. Until we see each other again, my old boy Harry the K, I know I haven't talked to you in a while, man. What you got?
High apple pie in the sky.